Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi, weather in 5 days in 5 minutes on what is turning out to be a not so nice Saturday with gloomy conditions here in the Northeast down into the northern mid Atlantic states. But we do want to call attention to the fact that this could wind up being a pretty busy day, severe weather wise, in the Midwest and Ohio Valley and down into the lower Mississippi Valley. This is the Storm Prediction Center's update forecast this morning. This will probably be updated again as we move through the afternoon. So if you're watching this, the time is shortly before 12 noon. So be sure that you check on your local National Weather Service forecast office for the latest information regarding severe weather at any time by going to weather.gov. But up until now, we've got a moderate risk in much of northern Illinois, a large area of enhanced risk, of course, an even larger area of slight risk, running from the lower lakes all the way down into northeast Texas. And this includes, by the way, St. Louis, Chicago, and Milwaukee, all in the risk zone. And everything is starting to set up for a solid round of severe weather later today. In the meantime, here in the Northeast, yeah, there could actually even be a heavier downpour or a thunderstorm that might pop up, isolated in nature. We've got this warm front coming northward, and that's always a tricky scenario, but we don't expect severe weather issues for our neck of the woods. Meanwhile, just want to give you a quick view here of what it looks like on the surface as of midday. You've got this low that is sitting in northeastern Kansas, moving northeastward, and the temperatures are already moving up into the 60s and 70s. It's a pretty sharp contrast. At 11 this morning, it was 70 in St. Louis, but you go up into Iowa and into northwestern Illinois, it's in the upper 40s to low 50s. You've got a really, really tight zone here and pretty good forcing, the tropical air pushing northward. The dew points all coming up. Dew points are actually running in the mid to upper 60s all the way up into central Illinois. So the atmosphere is pretty ripe for severe weather issues in that part of the world. And in the meantime, you can look on the satellite the inflow coming up from East Texas. You can see some of the higher cloud tops already as of midday, showing some thunderstorms developing. Also, we've got the storm center itself. There's a strong upper low here in western Nebraska, and that is adding some fuel to all of this as it holds together and moves very slowly east-northeastward, and eventually will make its way up into the lower lakes before turning eastward, and that's going to impact our weather as we go in through tomorrow. Meanwhile, back to our neck of the woods, and you can see the rain that is kind of arcing in from the northwest to southeast, from the Great Lakes through Pennsylvania, southern New York State, into New Jersey. It's taking a little while for it to push into the Hudson Valley and into southern New England. The southern edge of this is just down to about Maryland, the Maryland-Virginia line. So you got this little batch that's kind of extending southward down into Baltimore, Washington, and over Delaware, and that is also moving southeast. You're going to see the radar kind of go back and forth with this as we go through the day as this whole area comes out. And in the meantime, you're starting to see some showers and storms bubbling up from western Missouri on southward into Texas. And look for the likelihood of at least some tornado watches that are going to be going up later on today. So let's take a look at a couple of models as far as where this is all going for us and for everyone else, of course. And I'm just going to run this back. The storms, of course, every model is going to have kind of a different view here. I think it's important to just kind of focus on the risk area. Meanwhile, here for us, we get this rain to get through here. The problem is when we move into Sunday, the warm front is going to have a real struggle moving northward. Here we are at 1 a.m. 2 a.m. Sunday morning. There's your cold front. Your warm front is stuck down here, and there's actually a little low, a little wave, and you see the high that's up to the north, up in Maine. So that is actually keeping the flow onshore, keeping things rather raw and damp and gloomy. And that front's going to have a real tough time moving through here. As we go into tomorrow morning, we still have mostly east winds from central New Jersey into southern New England. Now, if you're south of there, I think you stand a fair chance of breaking out tomorrow afternoon and seeing your temperatures boost up. But if you're north and east, and I'll just draw a general line here. So if you're north and east of, say, central New Jersey, up this way, you're going to be fighting low clouds and some light rain and drizzle pretty much all day long. If you're south and west of here, you're going to probably see temperatures make a run for 70 or better. And if you're down in northern Virginia and point southward, you may actually see temperatures run up into the 80s. Now, once this all plays out, and eventually it will, we will see a little bit of improvement on Monday. You'll notice that there's still the storm spinning around in southern Canada, not too far from Toronto, north of Lake Ontario. So that's going to actually put us in some clouds. And yeah, that snow that you see up in central and northern New England Monday night and Tuesday, believe it or not, we have a blocking pattern that has set up. And if this were a month ago or even just 2 or 3 weeks ago, we'd probably be looking at this next weather system for the middle of next week for the potential for a little bit of snow out of it. Right now, the odds, I think, favor this playing out by passing by to our south, and maybe the northern fringe of the rains of cold rain makes it into southern Pennsylvania, southern New Jersey for a brief time, sometime later Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. So it's just kind of frustrating for snow lovers. They finally get a favorable pattern, and we're at the end of March and the beginning of April. Rainfall amounts today, I think, general, anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to an inch and a quarter. There might be some areas in Pennsylvania, in central Pennsylvania, that could see as much as an inch and a half, or maybe even an inch and 3/4. While you go south and west into Maryland and Virginia, and the amounts do tail off fairly rapidly. So, bottom line is, as far as the weekend is concerned, and most of us are, with everything that's going on with the coronavirus, it would have been great if we had weather like yesterday and carried it over through the weekend, but that's just not happening. So let's try and bear with it and this sort of gloom and doom weather that we have here for the rest of today and tomorrow. Websites are updated. Patreon is updated. We will keep you abreast of what's happening later today, and you can also watch all of this by downloading the free meteorologist Joe Cioffi weather app on Google Play or on the App Store. Have a great afternoon, or at least try, and we'll see you later. Hopefully, this has been a little bit of a distraction away from everything else that is going on.